most relevant thing, in my opinion, to actually accentuate yourself as a dancer. Assuming you're wearing long sleeves, moving your arms, it's like a huge deal. Like if you can't see the person's arms, it's just circles. So if you have cutouts across here, and you have cutouts down the outside and or inside of the leg, but even if you just have them down here on the bottom, like from the knee down, or an insert of fabric, dude, it makes a huge difference between what people can see. Something across your chest or back will also change. Like if you're standing like this and you do a behind the back cap and you have a cutout here, you're gonna see more. It's gonna be more interesting. You're gonna be framed. I know it's a stupid thing, but it matters. And to me, as a performer and coach, who has watched a ton of this, how important is it to you? How much time do you have? How much do you want to invest? Like, I feel confident you and I could spend 4 times the amount of time that we're working on this and still not in any way, shape, or form feel done, because there's always more. So it's really just a matter of making a choice, like, okay, how deep do I want to go down the rabbit hole? Just buy another version of what you have and then cut that up. And for the inserts, just use t-shirts and fabric glue. Oh, well, I would do the white underneath so that the black is on top, so that if you hit yourself, the soot goes on the black. I've done this before. In small pieces, because you want it to be able to move with it. You want it to stretch with it. So if you like have cutouts here, then you would have a small patch that's like this big behind your cutouts that are this big. And you'd have another one down here because you don't want it going over a joint. A couple t-shirts would be basically it. Or you just have the white shirt on and the other shirt over it, and you don't even bother separating, you don't even bother pasting it to the thing. I don't know how overheated you get. If it's cold enough, then you could just wear the 2 layers and you're fine. And then you could get a pair, if you can find a pair of cotton long johns that are a bright color or white color, you could wear long johns underneath the cut pants, and boom, you're done. That's your whole outfit, boom. And then no glue. And you have independent things that you can still wear, and you didn't actually, like, it's just another investment in long johns or something, basically, that you can wear. Just make sure it's fire safe. I don't feel like the long johns are a big investment because you get to use them. The investment is the like jacket and the pants that you're cutting up, because that's the thing that is really, you have a limited use for those. It's for costuming. And then what you would do is you would put your gauntlet on underneath the white shirt, so that the gauntlet was there for protection, but the white was there for what people see. And then you would put the black over it so you see the cutout. So you'd have black here on the hand, and then you'd have the white underneath, but the black over it. So it looks continuous, but the gauntlet's closest to your skin. And that also prevents excessive stretching on the gauntlet, which is better, in my opinion. I feel like you're doing so much work on the actual performance itself. You deserve to be seen. And if you have any interest whatsoever in taking any footage of it, it'll look better. I think a great example is think about a buzzsaw. Even if you did the same exact performance you've done in past years, your performance would look different just by having a costume of this kind. It would, because people would be able to see you differently. If you think about a buzzsaw, right, you're chilling out here, but if they can't even see your arm, it doesn't look nearly as death-defying. I've studied this for a couple decades. I have opinions. But I also want it to be low stress. This was why I wanted you to have something that I thought would be manageable. The most important thing when you're getting the new layers that you're going to chop is that the fabric is as tight, not as tight, you want a tight but stretchy weave. If it's too loose a weave, what ends up happening is it gets flimsy and it doesn't hold enough shape when you start making the slits. As long as it has some Lycra in it, it'll be fine, but hemp I feel like isn't very stretchy. Bamboo has a little bit of stretch to it, I feel like. It's all about the weave. You want to make sure that it's something that'll move with you. Something that will stretch with you. Something that will move with you. If you can't do a kick with it, it's probably not a good fabric, right? Something you can play Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter the video game in. How's that? The thickness doesn't necessarily determine the weave and the tightness of the weave. So tightness of the weave and thickness of the fabric both matter. I'm not sure I have ever used side by side the same thickness and tightness of weave of cotton and bamboo, because the last bamboo I used was a 4-way stretch, which is awesome because it moves all of the ways. But that would be for raw fabric. I don't think you would get that in a pre-made something. I mean, remember, I'm a costume designer, so from my perspective, I would buy the raw fabric and I would make something. American Apparel, I found, had the best selection of cotton blend hoodies that were enough of a percentage. Almost always, I'm sure there's an exception somewhere, 90% cotton is going to be good. I have consistently, for literally decades at this point, spun with yoga pants that are 92% cotton, 8% Lycra, or 90% cotton, 10% Lycra, or spandex. So, you know, 90% should be good. 80% to me is questionable. 85, I would definitely do a burn test, but I personally have never tested something that was 90% that I was worried about. I'm not saying that you can't find something.